Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Spencer here from SurveySpencer.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I make serious money with online surveys for cash. So let's get started. The first thing you want to be aware of when starting out with paid surveys is to set realistic expectations about what you expect in terms of making money from paid surveys. If you look around, there are a lot of scams out there that promise to make you some sort of millionaire living on an island in Tahiti from taking surveys. The reality is that surveys, can make you some money. They're not going to make you rich, but if you apply yourself, work hard, take a lot of surveys, and join a lot of survey panels, you can make about $500 a month. I personally had months where I've made $700, and some where I've worked a lot and only made about $400. But I'm just kind of giving an average. It really depends on who you are, what surveys you qualify for, and how many surveys you take. But I mean, just before you start, it's just good to have that kind of expectation, because that's how a lot of people get roped into scams. They think, oh, I'm going to make $5,000 a month, and they end up falling for a scam, and I don't want that to happen to you. So you want to avoid scams, but you also don't want to be paranoid and just avoid every survey panel. That's another mistake I see people make, is where they want to take paid surveys, but every panel they come across, they think, oh, this must be a scam, this must be a scam. There are legitimate paid survey panels out there, and you want to be, aware of the fact that some are scams and some are real, but you don't want to be paranoid to the point where you just are paralyzed and don't take any surveys. And the best way to know whether a survey panel is legit or worth your time, pays well, pays on time, and all the things that you want from a survey panel is to read reviews from other people like you. I mean, I personally have my favorite survey panels that I use, and you can always go with my advice, like Ipsos iSay is one that I like, or MyView. But you can also read reviews online, and that just helps you avoid scams, because as you know, when someone comes across a product and they're scammed, the first thing they do is go online and complain about it on a bunch of different websites. So if people have been consistently scammed, it doesn't stay a secret for very long. So you can find reports of scams very easily online at places like ripoffreport.com and scam.com. But if you just Google, the name of the panel that you're considering joining, you'll find a lot of scams come up if the site's a scam. If not, you'll see positive reviews. It also saves you a lot of time to read reviews. I mean, a lot of people just go on their own, put paid surveys into Google and try to find which panels. But if you can find places that consistently review panels and try those out, it just saves you time, because you're not sifting through hundreds of panels, because there are hundreds of panels out there. In my opinion, there's only like 5 or 6 that are really great. So if you read reviews, you can usually find which 5 or 6 are great, and that actually changes over time. One merges with another or stops paying well, so you really do need to read updated reviews. You can also earn a lot more that way. I mean, people who share information usually are happy to share the fact that I joined this survey panel and it pays really well, and the ones that aren't paying very well at the moment, people just are kind of silent about them. So when you read reviews, you can usually separate the wheat from the chaff and avoid scams and save some time. So I do recommend doing that. But you also need to be your own detective and take responsibility for the panels that you sign up for. And the best way to do that is, if you come across a new survey panel, the first thing to keep an eye out for is whether or not the panel is free or paid. There are 0 legitimate paid survey panels out there. So once you see someone asking for a credit card or any sort of payment whatsoever, that is a scam, and you want to avoid it. All of them are free to sign up and free to participate. You may have to give some personal information like your address and your income, but you should never have to pay a dime. They're paying you. It also, if you really want to do due diligence with these panels, you don't always have to do that if it has a good reputation, like Ipsos iSay or Inbox Dollars or something like that. But if you come across one that you've never heard of before, you can always go to the Better Business Bureau. I mean, these survey panels don't hesitate to get on the Better Business Bureau website, because that's a sign of credibility. And if one company scams people, it will have a very bad or poor rating on the Better Business Bureau. You should also keep an eye out for contact information The legitimate survey panels, they don't hide themselves. They don't say, oh, contact us through this forum. They usually have a physical address and maybe even a phone number you can call if you're interested in learning more about them. So if they have contact information sort of hidden, that's not a great sign. But if you can find it somewhat easily, that is a good sign. But to do well, you need to go for it. And as this quote you can see here, good things happen when you go for it. You really do need to start joining panels, taking surveys, and kind of learning the ropes. There's no way, you can learn everything about paid surveys just by reading about it. Once you participate in one panel, you learn more about, surveys for cash than you could from just, reading about it. So just join a couple reputable panels that have good reviews, and learn from it and apply and try to make as much money as you can. So I hope this was helpful, and maybe I'll see you at surveyspencer.com.